What's good, YouTube? It's your man Rage King back with another one. Yes, another upload to the channel. And before we get started, actually, y'all, please go down there and hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit that share button, and hit that bell for notifications if you're new. Welcome to Rema Rage TV. This is how we do Rage and Rebels. Crown up. And if you're new to the crew, welcome to the Rage and Rebel Revolution. Now let's vibe, and y'all. Unfortunately for me, I had to work earlier today, and another emergency came up, which kind of kept me out of the loop from streaming it, because normally I would stream this, but had to work, had things that came up IRL. And the combat cast happened today, right? So with said combat cast, we got a lot of information in a very short span, right? So in this video, we're going to talk about the news that they dropped alongside the news of Quan Chi and Chameleon. Let me show you what I'm talking about.
How visceral it is?
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. So before we move on to Quan Chi, a couple things we do want to discuss. As we've talked about maybe on Twitter some places, Crossplay is coming in February between PS5, Xbox, and PC. So we're very excited about that. So that's on
Get
track.
hype. Yep.
Get hype.
Get
That's on
hype.
track to come in February. We are adding a Wi-Fi filter, which means, like previous games, you will now be able to decline matches based on connection.
Yes, based on their connection type.
We also have patch notes coming, which you'll be able to see very soon. And we've done some changes in certain places, added a lot of quality of life stuff like we always do.
Yep.
But we've done some things with cameos. So I want to give a couple little hints
I was
about
gonna say,
those.
give a little hint.
Little teasers.
Kano's eye laser is now a mid.
Ooh.
Sonya's energy rings are also
Mid.
Yes. And now Kung Lao's buzzsaw, which is also his low hat, is now no longer plus when it's point blank. So, like, say Johnny Cage does something, drops it on you.
Right.
Point blank.
Yeah, it's not still his turn.
Have to think a little bit harder.
Yeah, so that.
So, couple of things to digest right there. First of all, they finally listened to us, and I will give them props. It took long enough, but hey, better late than never. You got to give them props when they finally do something that helps the quality of life of the game. Anything that helps the quality of life of a game, especially in 2023 and beyond, is always a plus and always a W. We got a Wi-Fi filter coming to Mortal Kombat 1. I believe they said it was happening in February, I believe it was. Because I did watch it a little bit earlier. It's coming in February. So we do have to wait a little bit longer for it, but I am glad that it is finally happening. And going forward, and I'm not just saying this just to pick on NetherRealm Studios, this is for any game being made going forward, specifically AAA developed titles. If you are going to release a game, right, that you have to be online with, and there is a PvP mode, right, of any sort, always, but when you drop the game, have a ping/Wi-Fi filter. Always. Again, that's not just NetherRealm Studios. That's for every game going forward. Always make sure you have that. And crossplay. Crossplay and Wi-Fi and ping filters are an absolute must in the gaming sphere, the gaming community today and going forward. And I'm not just saying this as I'm spoiled, give me the... No. I'm saying that from the standpoint of, if y'all are going to ask us to fork over all the money that we are forking over to y'all, right? Because you don't become a $1 billion company by not asking for a lot or giving out a product that draws in that amount of money. You understand what I'm saying? Making $1 billion, that's a lot of money. When you have a $1 billion budget, right? When you have a $1 billion budget, there's really no excuse not to have crossplay and a Wi-Fi filter in the game upon release. So going forward, that should be the standard upon release. All right. So I will say this, though I am happy for the Wi-Fi filter and the ping filter /ping filter. I am happy about the changes to the cameos that they have. I'm not saying I wouldn't necessarily call it a buff or a nerf necessarily. This is more for balancing reasons. Well, I guess you can't call it a buff and a nerf, but this is more for balance. I like the balancing and the cameos that we possibly gonna see. I hope they don't nerf anybody into the ground and make them unusable, but make them valuable. But you don't have to make them overpowered. You understand what I'm saying? Or if you're gonna make, or I'll say this: if you're gonna make them overpowered, if you're gonna have characters that are overpowered, you need to bring everybody else on the roster up, right? Don't just, okay, we're gonna nerf this, then we're gonna nerf it, because then the game gets boring, all right? If you're gonna have something that's gonna be a little bit OP, give everybody else on the roster, give them something that's a little bit OP as well, all right? That's how you balance the game. That's how you balance the game, all right? But that's just my opinion on that. But I'm glad we're getting the Wi-Fi filter, but I will say this, and then I'm gonna end the video. When it comes to this crossplay thing, right? I'm a little bit worried about it. I'm not saying I don't think that they'll get the job done eventually. They eventually won't get it right. But the first 3 months of that crossplay feature being introduced in the MK1, I'm a little bit worried about it, and here's why. Because you see how the servers struggle with this game now when there isn't any crossplay. Imagine what those servers are going to be like the first 3 months upon being implemented in MK1 when crossplay is introduced. You understand what I'm saying? I personally predict within the first 3 months we're going to get a lot of desynchronizations, a lot of infinite black screens, and a lot of long loading times. I do predict that. I predict a lot of desynchronizations. It's going to be a lot of pissed off people. And look, again, I'm not saying it's just to pick on NetherRealm Studios. I'm not. But they have given me all the evidence in the world that when it comes to things like that, trying to introduce something that the game should have been released with, and just trying to introduce it midway into the game's life cycle, NetherRealm Studios has given me more than enough evidence to show me that it is going to struggle. It is going to struggle to be nice about it. It is going to struggle to make sure that the servers, when crossplay is implemented, is going to be working at a functional and synchronized level. That's just my personal opinion on it. But I am happy that it's here, and I hope they do get it right sooner rather than later when it is introduced. But that's going to be the end of my video on that, man. I hope y'all enjoyed. It's been a pleasure making it for you, and I will catch y'all on the next one. Goodbye!